There are many ways that you may witness. Someone left a Bible research lesson on the front door of a house at Stanford Gap. Turned out to be a young lady, single parent, 2 children. She came home from work. She was very tired, discouraged. She just took the lesson and threw it in the back room. About 6 months later, she found it, sent it in, started taking lessons. About a year later, she sent me a note and said, "I just want you to know that I'm now a Seventh-day Adventist Christian." Who put that lesson on her door? God knows. This last weekend, I was at a church where a lady came up and said, "I just thought you might want to know that I have just become a Seventh-day Adventist Christian after watching your 30 videos." I want you to hear Crystal Jensen, a very experienced at Bible studies and great at visiting, as she shares a couple of experiences.
I never wanted to be in prison ministry, really, and especially a men's facility. But God is the creator of all things, and so He just kind of laid it into my lap. So I started a set of Bible studies there at the prison, and one day I met Jacob. I had been studying there very long with the gentlemen that were coming to the meeting, and Jacob's eyes were glazed over and dark. And I chatted with him for a minute. Later I found out that Jacob had an Adventist background. His mother was Adventist, his father was Baptist, but not a lot of harmony in the home, so Jacob decided to go out and do other things and got himself in trouble and ended up in prison. I wanted to give Jacob a challenge. So the next week when I saw Jacob, I said, "Please come to the Bible study." I said, "You know it's a Seventh-day Adventist Bible study." And I said, "Tell me a little bit about your background." He did. And I said, "I want to challenge you, Jacob. Come to the study and look at it through your adult eyes. How do you see Adventism?" He said, "I'll do that, Miss Crystal." He came faithfully. From week to week, I would see the light coming on in Jacob's eyes. Then I gave him challenge number 2. I gave him a Clear Word Bible. And I said, "I want you to read this every day." And came in a couple weeks later. He's smiling and he says, "Miss Crystal, is it okay if I go ahead on my assignments?" And I said, "Absolutely, Jacob. You can read it all the way through and then read it through again." Jacob absolutely was coming alive. Third challenge I gave Jacob. Jacob, I need somebody in-house to share some of these things that we're teaching in class. Now at this time, we had about 14 men coming to the prison. So Jacob took that challenge like he had the others, and he started sharing his faith. Jacob was baptized and another inmate was baptized. Jacob has something to get up for every single morning, and he has a reason to be alive. All right, story number 2 is Joanne. Joanne is on the end of the spectrum of life. She was 80, and Jacob, of course, 26. So Pastor asked me to go visit Joanne. I went to the door unannounced. She was rather cool. So I'm praying and I'm saying, "Holy Spirit, help me to connect. How can I connect?" So I just boldly said, "Can I come in?" "Well, yeah, sure." So I went in, still looking for a connector. All of a sudden I said to Joanne, "I'm a hairdresser." She lit up like a candle, and we started talking shop. She even told me that she used to do perms with wooden perm rods. Okay, we studied. She loved it. We got to the Sabbath, and she needed to ponder that because she had been in another denomination for her 80 years. And it took us 4 or 5 weeks to really go through that, and she said, "Give me more time, give me more time." One day I walked in and she said, "I've got it." And I said, "You got what?" And she said, "Sunday keeping is a man-made day, institution." She was baptized and she was a faithful member. 18 months later, Joanne died suddenly in her home. Okay? Now, let me give you just a little more background on Joanne. Her son, of 50 years old, had been baptized 2 years before in the Adventist church, and her granddaughter. So I called her son when I found out that Joanne had died. Now her son was a big, burly guy, very quiet. And I called him and just we talked. And he started to cry on the phone. And he said to me, "Thank you, Crystal, for making the effort and coming and sharing with my mother, because we will be able to see her when Christ comes. There are more Jacobs and there are more Joannes out there. Why do I do Bible studies? I can't wait to spend eternity with Jacob and Joanne.